Now these singles are coming into here. There's a little bit of fresh pick in here. It's not very good, but the whole farm's actually quite dry. We've dried off really quickly and we're not growing feed. So yeah, all our flats, I was hoping that we'd have some rain and they would have picked up by now, but I've kind of chewed them out and it's not really coming back. But yeah, I mean, there is some fresh feed in here, and I mean, this is a little bit pugged from last winter, but I mean, that's not too bad, reasonably palatable for a lamb, and there is a bit of clover further down in here. So yeah, there's the crop again. So I'll move them, and yeah, hopefully be weaning in a bit over a week's time. So as you can see, there's all this barley grass here. See the seed head on it. You know, it's terrible stuff. And it's all through this again, which is a real shame because we've, you know, spent that time to crop it, try and get rid of it, and no, it hasn't worked. So anyway, Gus. Get up, mate. Look over, mate. Drop. And they're going nicely. Good girls. They worked well. So there are some bigger lambs in here, which is nice. They're just going to go down. Yeah, they look like they're turning now. Straight down into here. If I keep moving them, these lambs should keep going. Keep moving forward slowly. For you guys, this is at the gateway. Oh, not far from the gateway. So it's not representative of the whole paddock, but it's not far off. I mean, if you go like this and grab a bit of that, I mean, all that came out, not ideal, but look at all that. I mean, it's pretty shit grass, not very palatable, and a lot of dead matter in there. So lambs aren't going to do very well off that. So that's why I've just put them in here for a few days, try and get the best out of it. And now I'll pop in the weaned earlies and the dry hoggets, and they can be in here for I don't know, a week. But they don't need much to live on when they don't have a lamb on them. So yeah, so I'm just using these dry ewes and weaned earlies to clean up paddocks like this. This is just around the house. Well, that drum shouldn't be there. Will I go, mate? Will I go, Gus? So I'm just going to move these girls around. Sit, Gus! Get up here! They'll be happy to get out of here. Well, there they go. Hopefully they chew out all that grass, and we might be able to mow that other grass. So in New Zealand we have no subsidies, so it makes it it's been quite good actually, because it makes us very competitive. If we don't make a profit every year, then we go out of business. So yeah, we have to deal with that because we're so far from the world basically. It costs our meat companies a lot to ship it over to Europe or America or China, and we're a very small player, so we're price takers. We basically are told what we're going to get paid, and we budget for that. Our systems are very low cost, very efficient. So we are an all grass system. So this farm is our family farm, and I'll be the 4th generation here. So it consists of these flats. There's 80 odd hectares at the front here. There's a few hectares out the back that are flat, and some more rolling country. And then of course we have the north facing country, which is this country here. This is basically facing northwest. North is up there. South, obviously, that way. These front flats are perfect because it's right next to the road. The yards are here, so all our better stock can be at the front of the farm, ready for finishing and getting on a truck and getting to the meatworks. It makes our farm easy to run, and it all makes sense. It's easy for processing and working with your animals. So these flats really make the farm very productive and give us the option of finishing animals. It gives us a competitive advantage ahead of some other blocks that only have the ability to sell animals store. So I'm just going to whip up on a hill behind us, and I'll show you some of the north country, and then I'll show you some of the south country. Today's a Sunday, so I'm doing the rounds anyway, having a look around. In about 8 days we're going to be weaning, so I'm also having a look at the lambs, ewes and lambs, wanting to know how good they look, because I've booked in a unit load of lambs to the works, which is quite a few for us. We're lambing 1800 mixed age and 2-tooth ewes, and half of them will be kept. Only 50% of the lambs on the ewes can be sent to the meat processors at this stage, because we want to keep all our ewe lambs for a few months to see how they grow, and then we'll pick our replacements from them. So there are a couple of good lambs in here that that'll definitely be able to go. As I was saying, 50% of those lambs will be ewe lambs, and we want to keep them, so they can't go this time around. But yeah, no, they're not looking too bad really. I mean, there's definitely a couple of them will be 35 kilo lambs. My cutoff will probably be 33, 34. So anything above 33, again, I want to send, because look at this, we are getting quite dry. So here we are at the front of our northerly country. You can see the flats down there. I was just down there on that one of those main flats, which is our airstrip, which had the chicory and clover in it. That second year chicory and clover. Our first year stuff that we've just put in is just coming up, got a lot of fat hen in it, and it really isn't doing very well because it's so dry. Generally, this is spring, so generally in spring we'll have a fair bit of rain and enough to establish our crops before summer. This year hasn't quite gotten there. Rain's supposed to come, maybe a little bit today. It's nothing drastically different, it's just some years are like this, and some years are a bit better. So this is kind of facing northwest. So that has a big influence on how your country responds to summer and winter. So in summer it's going to be drier because it gets the sun on it first, and in winter it's going to be drier as well. And also the north country will be warmer, and it will grow more grass in the winter, whereas in the summer it will be dry, and then it will probably grow less grass. So that determines how what animals we put on this country and when we're lambing. So our lambing is determined by the growth curve of our pasture. So we set up when our ewes want to lamb when we start growing grass. So in the middle of winter, when we don't have any grass, we don't want to be lambing ewes then, because they want to eat a lot of grass around lambing time, and they also need a certain amount of time before they lamb. They will need to be eating very well, and then at peak lactation is when you want your grass to be growing the fastest, and it to be on a rising plane the whole way up. If it's not on a rising plane, then the lambs won't do very well, and the ewes won't milk as well as what they could have. So you want them to reach the potential of what they can. So right now it's dry, we're about to wean. So weaning is determined by the amount of feed that you have on the farm. So when your ewes start out competing your lambs, you generally want to wean and put your lambs on your best feed, and you can shut down your ewes. So your ewes don't need half as much if they are not feeding a lamb, and your lambs will do better if they have better feed, because they start getting all their nutrients from the feed instead of their mum's milk. So if you can give them good feed, then they'll do a whole lot better than having to compete with their mother on the same grass. So after a while, if there's not enough grass, the ewe will go around, they'll be eating all the good stuff in front of the lambs, and then the lambs just won't do as well. So that's basically determines when you wean. Every farm makes that decision, or generally around that. Sometimes around the market as well, how lambs are selling, and when they want to get them away. Now every farm has a slightly different system, and some farms, as I say, they won't have the facilities or the land to be able to finish lambs, so they end up selling all their lambs store at weaning, and then their systems will be slightly different. But for us, it's basically we want to wean when the ewes start out competing the lambs, but we try to wean all our lambs either onto the flats, all of our male lambs onto the flats, so to get them fat and get them off to the meatworks, or get them straight off mum is our best option. As many as we can get off mum, get off mum straight to the meatworks is the most efficient way of doing it, because they yield higher, and it means that we don't have to drench them as much. It means less work for me. I don't have to muss them in. This is the country. We have a little bit of native bush in here that we've fenced off so that no stock can get in there. And this is all northerly facing, so that's basically north. The Ruapehu mountain is just in the distance there, behind that cloud. There's our flats. That's all north, and now northwesterly facing country, so it's facing obviously that way, so that's northwest. And I'm just going to go up on that hill for you, which is it's a pa, so it's basically a old Māori settlement. I'll just show you the southerly facing and back this way, so you can just see how our farm is and how it's set up. Our paddocks are between 5 and 15 hectares, but we have paddocks up to 30 hectares. The smaller they are, the easier it is to control the feed. So one way to make a farm more productive is to subdivide more, so have more fences, more paddocks. It means that you can rotate faster and control your feed better. And controlling your feed and what stock is in those paddocks is the best way to control the quality of your feed. And quality and the amount of feed that your animals eat is a big determinant of your productivity and your income. So if you can make your animals eat more, and the only way to make your animals eat more is to make it more palatable, or make it so they want to eat it. So the only way to do that is by using animals to control the feed better to make it more palatable. So if I let all this country go and don't have any animals in there, it won't be very palatable when I put animals back in, and then they won't eat it very well, and they also will take weight off, and they won't do so well. So that's something that I'm learning at the moment, and I'm just pretty new to it. So yeah, pasture management is a big one on these hills. So I'm just going to walk along this ridge for you, along there, get up onto that hill, and just show you the north and the south and what this place looks like. So you can see where the cattle can't come. It's all got this rough stuff. The sheep aren't going to eat this. It's not good for them. But yeah, this last summer we had a very wet summer and we grew a lot of feed, which is unusual to us. So we've got all this roughage that hasn't been eaten by the cows. So over there we've got a 30 hectare block of trees, and just underneath this hill here we've got another 30 hectare block of trees. So that's planted through the emissions trading scheme. We will accumulate carbon credits, and it's a scheme that sheep and beef farmers have really resented, because it's caused our land to become very valuable, because there's a lot of investors coming in and buying up sheep and beef country, turning it into pine country, and these pine trees, they wreck the soil, causes a lot of slash when they harvest, and you'll never get the land back to how it was. Well, it takes many years. So yeah, I mean, most farmers around us, I've got one neighbour who says, "Oh, have your trees died yet?" You know, and he's only joking, but there is a resentment towards these tree plantings, and I'm also in that same kind of boat. I don't like it, but it is profitable, and it's a lot more profitable than sheep and beef currently. That's why we've diversified and put in 60 hectares of our southerly facing country that doesn't perform very well, have better income with less work, because now I don't have to muster that. I don't have to drench the sheep on there, I don't have to maintain the fences. I also don't have to put any fertiliser on it. There are some costs in trees, but they're minimal. So this is all our south facing country. The boundary is just at the top of that knob there, and it comes along here through the gully. You can see it just there. So it goes all the way down to that creek down there. We have a few flats down the bottom. There's 30 hectares of trees in there, another 30 over there. You can see all the drying off, and this is all south facing. So underneath there is a mudstone called Papa. So that hill is ours, and we basically go all that way. So this is all, as I say, south facing. We're planning on putting a new track in there and a new track just below us, so that we can get around these pine trees a bit better. So two new fence lines. So it's one at the top of the trees and one at the bottom. And we've got the digger here at the moment. It's just here for a day or so. Going to be doing that for us. So here we are at the top of the pa. I can see why the Māori settlers came and settled here. It's a very good outlook, and look at that countryside. It's awesome. Yeah, so they would have been able to see the enemies come up the hill and be able to track them. Although it is quite exposed, you can feel that wind. So that's basically it. It's windy. That's sheep beef farming, Taipi, NZ. So our stock water is gravity fed from a hill, must be 40 or 50 kilometres away. This water is gravity fed to a certain amount of hectares around this area. It's a system put in the 1970s. My grandfather had a fair bit to do with it, and my father is currently on the board for it. So this is fed straight into our top tank up here, up there, and then it is gravity fed throughout the rest of the farm. And 90% of our paddocks have a trough or a dam, so that stock can get water in different places in the paddock. So I'll take that off. So the more water you have in more places, the better grazing you'll have, because in the summertime, when your cows are out in the paddock, they're just going to hang around where the water source is because they're so thirsty all the time. And if you only have one water source, your grazing is going to be very average or very inconsistent, and they'll only graze around where the water source is. So having more troughs or dams is a better option. So yeah, for us, having the troughs is great for the farm. It really makes it. If we didn't have these troughs and the water system that we do, we would have to have a digger here probably every year just to clean out the dams. They'd probably have to go around a third or a half of all the dams on the farm, especially in a wet winter, to clear them out, make sure that they have good water. And if these dams dry up in a really dry summer, then you have no options but to take the stock out of the paddocks. So yeah, because we have that consistent water coming in all year round, yeah, it gives us certainty that our stock will always have water. Might get some rain. Happy days. This is ideal. Annabelle's put out sheets, so now it's raining. We just had to quickly go and grab them. Oh, you got them? Perfect. You can put some more sheets out if you want, Annabelle.
So it keeps raining.
Yeah. You might have to put all our sheets out. Check this out. Annabelle's made Vicky's. And that one's for me, so that's ideal. Well, that's the farm. But before you start thinking I'm just some New Zealand farmer with no life, watch me do 10 pull-ups with perfect form. Well, thanks for watching my channel. I've also got footage from Friday of us dipping and drenching our hogget lambs. They weren't looking too bad. I did have a couple of deaths in one of the paddocks, which I'm not entirely sure what I'd put that down to, but they were needing that drench, and I've given them a B12 as well, so they should get along pretty well now. Thanks again for watching, and please subscribe and give me a like if you had the time.